Chris, hello, it's Chris Leonard. I said I'd make a film. It's been a long time coming, so I hope it's still useful. I often find that the comments on the section, they're all very good. Sometimes it's pretty hard to try and put it into practice unless it's verbalized and also done in the context of the stroke. So let me try and do that. I don't profess to be the master, but I think I'll I seem to have had a couple of good results actually with coaching people either on the water or on the ergo. So happy I'll put this up, and clearly people will comment as they see fit. So what I'm going to do is just put the camera over there and then try and demonstrate what I was seeing, and also things that you can try and do to improve. All right. I hope you can hear me from over here. I'm outside. It's very noisy in the pool. Right, so I'm going to shout. I think the key thing for me that I see, and I think you got the comments, was the rock over of the body, and I think that is causing a whole number of and they're all subtle, so we're getting into the fine area of technique, but they're causing some I think challenges in maintaining power through the stroke. And when you see the replay, the telling factor is this bounce on the chain. There's an acceleration, and then there's a slowing of the acceleration, which means that you sort of catch it in the arms towards the end of the stroke. So the reason that the body rockover becomes very important is because you create more leverage to utilize the upper body at the finish of the stroke. And what that should do is take away this bounce of the chain, because you've got the power in the legs and you've got the leverage in your upper body to just keep maintaining that acceleration with the body and then through the arms. So I'll try and demonstrate what I mean, and then again, the exercises aren't that dissimilar to things that have been seen before, but let's see what we can do. So you're coming forwards, and we'll come on to the hand movements in a second, but your hands are getting to about there, and then you're running your hands down the shins, but then you're coming forwards, and you're quite long, so you get actually closer to the box than I do. But you've got quite a gap here in terms of that's sort of additional length that you can get that you're not currently using. So that's quite a lot that you're not currently using. And what is also happening is that as you drive very well actually, but you drive to there, and because you haven't got a huge amount of leverage in your body to use, actually what happens is that you can't maintain the stroke acceleration, and that it sort of bounces a little bit, and you catch it in the arms, and you have quite a lot to do with the upper body. And you'll know legs are much stronger. So the important thing to try and do is from the end of the stroke, and your finished position I think is pretty good. So I will say 1 o'clock and 11 o'clock, 30 degrees either side of the 90. So 1 o'clock, so the arms are going away. But try and make sure you rock over to that 1 o'clock position. And you should feel it in the hamstrings. You should feel it here, feel it pull. And then start to slide. You don't need to go any further forward. It's not about reach. It's about getting into that strong position to maintain the acceleration. And then the drive, you see my body is still leaning forward, and then you can open up and accelerate. And what that should do for you is it just connect the handle through the core and through the end of the stroke. I'm filming, sorry. So, right, I'm just going to try and put that into some motion here. So, hands, body, slide, drive, open. Drive, open. So, it should be very smooth. No bounce, just drive, open. So, The obvious drills, as I would have shown before, is just do the arms only, so you just feel it in the arms. You do arms and body, rocking. Okay, you get to that point, and then you do quarter slide. Just break the knees, drive, and then open. And then half slide, so you just come up a little bit further. And what we're trying to do here is just maintain the body position. So all the drive is still coming through the legs, drive, open. It just comes quicker, drive, open. Okay, and then you can get into the longer stroke. And practice that motion. The other thing that was happening is that, and you've got some commentary on this, is that at the end of the stroke, so it's, and you got some commentary about whether it's on water rowing or on look, my view is I've done both. I think the reason that it's important to keep the handle moving on an ergo is that it sets rhythm, and I don't think you can underestimate the power that rhythm can play in being very successful in a race or not, as the case may be. It grinds it in, it grinds the thought process in, it grinds the rhythm in around certain rates. You get to sense that, and the neurons fire up in a certain way at 32, fire in a certain way at 34, and you know what your delivery of power is at that rate, with that rhythm. So for me, the hand movement, even on an ergo, is really critical. What I'd say to you is that you're putting your hands here, and then you're sort of tracking the shins, which means your handle's going down, and then you're lifting the handle up. It's a bit of a waste of energy. Even in a boat, I wouldn't recommend that otherwise, other than for an exaggerated movement to try and help people get balance. But just hands there. So I went silent there, but so hands out, rock. Just try and keep them level. There should be no extra energy placed in the movement. The other thing I would say is this handle stopping here, and I see a lot of CrossFitters do this, which is that they get there, stop, pile up. I would recommend the handle keeps moving, because that again sets the rhythm. If the handle stops, and I think what people are trying to do is replicate what they see in a rower, somebody rowing with rhythm, but that's not how the rower rows with rhythm. The handle never stops. It's always, it's where the pause is actually in the legs coming up, because they take the time, the handle moves, they take the time to rock the body, and then the legs come up. So that's where the pause comes from, that I think people try to replicate. So if you want to get rhythm, keep the handle moving, create the rhythm by rocking the body. Rock the body. And just don't try to track the knee, the shins. No need to do that. So hopefully there's a few things to work on there. I'll post it on the hub, and let's see what comes back in terms of commentary.